everyone. My name is Ahsan, and I'm going to be talking a little bit about a project that I've been a part of for the past 2 years or so. The project is known as the NASA Suits Design Challenge, and my role in the project is as project manager. So, to give you a little bit of background on what the NASA Suits Design Challenge is, it's a program that NASA sends out nationwide and challenges students nationwide to design and create an augmented reality system that can eventually help astronauts on the Artemis mission. And the Artemis mission is the next mission by NASA to land the first woman and the next man onto the moon by 2024, and then future preparations for Mars and research for that. So creating this augmented reality system is going to be able to allow astronauts to do their tasks and missions with more ease and efficiency. Some examples include instead of carrying around a guidebook or a direction sheet, they can see these steps right in front of them through their screen and they're built inside their helmet. Another thing that we can include through this system is instead of handwriting notes or trying to remember important things that might help in the future and waiting to get back into their station to write these notes down after a long day at work, we can incorporate voice notes and kind of through the system that our augmented reality device uses. So that way, these astronauts don't have to waste any time or energy on those things. And some of the key elements involved within this challenge are the Artemis mission, as I mentioned, the augmented reality, which if some of you might not know what augmented reality is, and that's completely fine. Um, but you may have used it in your um, daily day-to-day activities. So apps like Instagram or Snapchat, right? They have different effects or features that you can use while taking a picture. So for example, having hearts around your face or having a crown over your head. Those are overlays on top of an environment that is already there. So that is something that you can compare to augmented reality, except in this case, we're going to be incorporating different features like battery life or oxygen levels, so that astronauts are well aware and can be well informed throughout their tasks. And lastly, the Magic Leap 1. This is the device that is actually going to be used for our testing purposes and being able to build this augmented reality system, which will eventually be sent to NASA and used by future astronauts. So this is the device that we are putting over our heads and programming into and sending our updates to, and we're working with this device to reach our final project and our end result. So some of the tasks and responsibilities I, as project manager, have to do is follow a timeline. I have to meet deadlines that NASA sends out to us. And along with meeting these deadlines and timelines, I have to work with the different sub teams within our group. So we have a group known as the Astrobees, right? That's the main team. But within the team, we have the outreach department, which goes out and presents to different schools or communities or libraries to go share what we've been working on. Another sub team that we have is the systems team or the UI UX design team or the IVA mission team, the people that build the app or the system. So it's not just one group of people working on a project. We have people from design majors to simulated game design, to just programmers and software developers. There's so many people that go into this project, and um, making sure that I have an overview of each sub team allows me to understand what each group is working on and from there, I'm able to manage communications between the sub-teams so that everyone can collaborate and join their works in order to put everyone's hard work and efforts towards the final project and the final deliverable. Lastly, I regularly update the team with any changes or updates that NASA sends out, and I'm the point of contact for the entire project. For this project, I used a technique called Agile Project Management, which uses sprints. And these sprints are weekly or bi-weekly, depending on the project. Updates are regular meetings so that we can incorporate changes within the project instead of worrying about those items at the end of the project's timeline. Moving forward to the important elements of project management, I'll definitely emphasize communication because without it, there's no successful project. And also following a project schedule and due dates because without meeting those deadlines, our work wouldn't be recognized or accounted for by NASA. And lastly, making sure that every team member knows what their role and responsibility is because at the end of the day, if they don't know what they're expected to do, then we won't be able to meet those deadlines. Some of the methods we use to communicate as a team include email, Microsoft Teams, an application called Trello, and Zoom. To dive a little further into each communication method, starting off with email, we use that mostly to communicate with the NASA Suits coordinators to share different updates on events or work or any submissions that we might have, or even questions that we might have for them. Sometimes I wouldn't receive an answer right away, so I would have to just resend my email so that they could be able to get back to me. Microsoft Teams and the Teams chat was used mostly within our team, the Astrobees, and we use this to send out regular announcements and reminders and to communicate as a team on different changes or anything that might come up. And the chat function was used more so on an individual basis because if someone didn't respond to the general announcement, I would reach out to them just to give a quick reminder, just to communicate with them and make sure they were up to date with everything. Trello was a platform we used to clearly organize different sets of information like outreach events or meetings or even tasks that we were completing. And we were able to make different cards with those sets of information. And within the card, we were able to add additional information and details or Zoom links or the people within the team that were part of that task. So this was a way that everyone had access to a board where all the information was laid out so there would be minimal confusion. Zoom was mostly used for video calls in order to update one another or work together as a team, along with communicate with NASA. One of the most unexpected changes was definitely going from face to face to everything online when COVID hit. But NASA was very supportive and understanding with all these changes that were coming because of the pandemic. So we were able to communicate the new timeline and expectations with them. Some of the lessons that I learned after being project manager, and I keep emphasizing this, is communication is definitely key, and without it, there's not much success in a project. I also learned that teamwork is super essential, and just being able to build friendships and ask one another for help is an important thing to emphasize. And lastly, learning never stops. And if you put your mind to something, you can definitely achieve it. Don't underestimate yourself because everything is done through learning and it's just a process. And even if you do fail the first time, you just keep trying and you'll eventually get to that end result. So some tips for anyone going into project management, I would definitely say to you that you should stay positive and motivate the team. And like I keep saying, communication is definitely something that should be prioritized. And just keep trying no matter how hard it gets. Don't let anything disappoint you or get in the way of your success because no matter how hard it gets, if you keep trying, you'll eventually get to the end result you want. And experience is definitely gained through the journey of both success and failure. So here are my citations. And I'd like to thank everyone who was able to join us and be able to listen to my presentation today. And good luck to anyone going into project management.